Hello and welcome to Tricks of the S Trade channel. Today is the 18th of April 2018, and in today's feature we're featuring Ashton Kutcher. And besides Ashton Kutcher, we're going to be featuring a lot of small fish that a lot of people don't know about. The first on the list would be Brody Jenner. Brody Jenner happens to be, we'll call him just a son for now, a son of Bruce Jenner, from another relationship besides besides Kris Jenner, whom he married. So that means Bruce Jenner wasn't the first to go from mutilating himself and trying to say that he's female when he's male. They did this to his daughter and tried to, or rather, mutilated her into a male. So we'll be featuring Brody Jenner as well. Then we'll also be going to be taking a look at Scott Campbell. Scott Campbell may not be very popular. A lot of you guys don't know, but he's still a small fish regardless, because he's known in the popular community for doing a lot of tattoos of very, very popular people, and also Tyler Blackburn. So let's just go over the last two and their wiki page so you guys can get accustomed to those guys and probably take a look at them to know who they are. So first of all, let's take a look at Scott Campbell's Wikipedia page right here. He says that he's a tattoo artist, born May 13, 1977. Is a New York-based American tattoo artist and tattoo artist whose clients include Howard Stern, Sting, Robert Downey Jr., Courtney Love, Orlando Bloom, Josh Hartnett, Marc Jacobs. So he's very, very popular. He's just one of those go-to tattoo artists that a lot of celebrities who are all owned by the Vatican go to get their tattoos. So that means Scott Campbell was groomed to be in that position of tattooing or the artist, or tattooing the people that the Vatican want him to tattoo, or want her to tattoo, rather, as we'll find out on the show, on the program rather. So we also have Tyler Blackburn as well. Tyler Blackburn is as you can see here, was born October 12, 1986, is an American model, singer, and model. He's best known for playing Caleb Rivers on the hit freeform series Pretty Little Liars. So if you've ever been watching Pretty Little Liars, that's who we're featuring today, Tyler Blackburn. And they say the show has a spin-off called Ravenswood. So those are the small fish that we'll be featuring today on this particular video. So besides that, if it's your first time on a channel, I'd like to welcome you. But before you can continue watching this video, you need to pause this video right here and go look for the primer video. The primer video is the most important video that you have to watch on this channel in order to understand anything that we're talking about. Because if you just pick up a video on the channel for the first time and you watch it, you're going to have a lot of unanswered questions. And we answer those questions. So we give you a basic foundation in trying to understand what's going on here and what we're trying to present to you, so you can come to a full and clear understanding of what's going on in your world, and that the monarchy that's running our lives and fabricating our reality from start to finish and making us feel like it's organic and it's happening naturally, because they want to soak us all into the new world order, is the Vatican. The Vatican is the one responsible for all the transgenders that you see in your public spheres and spheres of influence in your world, and for everything that's happening in your world. They own everything that you have to do with daily life. So they own everything down to the shower heads in your house and to the underwear that you wear. The Vatican is involved in it. So if it's your first time on our channel, you need to watch the primer video, and let me show you how to get to the primer video, so you can go watch that first and then come back and continue watching this video. So let's do that. The primer video will be the oldest video on this channel. It's just called Primer. There is a playlist for it also on the channel. So I advise that you go look for the playlist. The playlist has about 2 or 3 videos in there besides the primer video, which we suggest that you should watch. It's going to help you a lot to lay the foundation so you can understand what's really going on. And so when you click on the primer video, or any video that you pick up on this channel to watch, there is a link in the description section. It's very, very important that you click on this link and get the document which is attached to it. And this link is going to take you to a document, and the document is going to be called Male versus Female Visual Differences. It's a document that's going to help you to be able to identify the skeletal differences and some of the let's say outward appearances of what a male and a female should look like, but we all always concentrate on the skeletal differences because that is the most important aspect of everything else. Everything else can be changed through plastic surgery, and also because we have hormones in our food, the water, the air that we breathe, in our clothes. These hormones tend to change the physical appearances of a man into a woman outwardly, because nothing can change the skeletal structure, and also can change the facial differences or outward appearance of a female into a male, because of the Vatican is deeply involved in making sure that they make us to be weak and sickly, so that we cannot stand up to the new world order, and then they can bind us all to the new world order, which is already in play right now. So that's why you have to concentrate on the skeletal structure, the skeletal differences between male and female, which we always stick to in a document, because nothing can change the skeletal structure once it's set and determined at conception. Nothing can change that. Anything else that you do is only going to change the muscles, the skin, the fat content, and the water content of the body, but nothing can change the skeletal structure. So that's how, for example, the reason why nothing can tamper. One proof I'm trying to say is that to show that nothing can change the skeletal structure is that from dead skeletal remains, we are able to identify the sexes of the people who died. And how are we able to do that? Because nothing can change the skeletal structure. The skeletal structure of a woman will remain a skeletal structure of woman till the day she dies, and nothing will change that. Even after she dies, the skeletal structure is still going to remain female, and same for a male as well. So you always have to stick to the skeletal structure, which we're going to talk about right now in a minute, since we're already in the transvestigation of Ashton Kutcher. So let's start. So right here you're looking at a female to the left of our screen, and the female has an arch in her back. Now, why does a female have a C-shaped or S-shaped arch in her back? It's because the pelvis of a female is tilted forward. Why is the pelvis of a female tilted forward? The pelvis of a female is tilted forward so that a baby can stay inside the pelvic region for the 9 months of conception that a baby goes through until full term and delivery. So without the pelvic tilt, the baby would drop right outside of the womb, because there would be nothing for the baby to lay on and be comfortable. So a straight, you know that anything straight up and down with some sort of opening will always drop something right out if you don't slant it forward. So that's why the pelvis of a woman is tilted forward. Every female has a tilted pelvis forward. Without that, she won't be able to bear children. So that's the reason why a female has an arch in her back. And also the arch is extra support for the weight of carrying children, so that the weight of pregnancy can be evenly distributed across the body, so that the lady doesn't have any problems walking and doesn't hurt herself or the baby. So that's why a female has an arch in the back. If you draw the arch on a female's back just from below the shoulder blades, it's going to form a C-shaped arch in the back. If you draw it from high above the shoulder blades, it's going to be an S-shaped arch in the back. So I want you guys to remember that very, very clearly. Now for males do not have any arch in their back. A man's back is straight up and down because the pelvis of a man is straight. It's not tilted like that of a female. So if a man's back wants to arch, it's going to arch outwards into the shape of a D, if you're following my mouse right here, like you see right here, D, or it's going to be shaped like a P, and it's going to be straight down into the straight pelvis because the pelvis is not tilted forward. So I want you guys to remember those letters. The back of a man is shaped like a D or a P and is straight. The back of a female is shaped like an S or a C and is curved inwards. Okay, so remember that. Let's scroll further into the document just to show you that you'll always see that arch in the female's back. For example, here's a lady kneeling down. You can see she has this deep C arch in the back because her pelvis is tilted forward. Now, it doesn't matter what size the lady comes in. It doesn't matter if she's tall, she's short, she's small, or whatever size that she is. There's always going to be an arch in the female's back. So you're looking right here, there's a big female to the left of my screen. She has an arch in the back and the pelvis is tilted forward. You're looking to a small female right here, and you can still see she has an arch in the back and the pelvis is tilted forward. It doesn't matter if the lady is working out and builds a lot of muscle, nothing can change the skeletal structure. There's always going to be an arch in the female's back, as you can see here. Muscular female, arch in the back, muscular female, arch in the back. So let's go over and play a short clip of one of the most identifying features, the most identifying feature of a woman, which is the hips. The hips of a female are wider than that of a man. The hips of a female are also below the crotch, because everything like the reproductive organs of a woman is inside the body. It's not like a man in which the reproductive organs is outside the body. So the female hip is below the crotch so that there is space inside the pelvic region for a baby to stay. Unlike a man in which his hips are above the crotch, because he doesn't require his reproductive organs to be inside the body, rather they're outside so they can function at the optimal temperature outside the body. So that is the most distinguishing feature of both females and males, in that the females has a wider pubic arch, which causes the hips to be further apart in the body and causes those hips to be below the crotch, and that they should be also, the hips are also below the crotch so that they should be out of the way, so that when a baby is about to come out of the womb, the hips are not an interference. Unlike a man who doesn't need to give birth, who will not give birth, who will never give birth, in which his hips are above his crotch because he has nothing to do with childbirth. So the distinguishing feature between males and females lies in the skeletal structure, in that one skeletal structure is designed to give birth and the other is not. So if you're looking at such differences like secondary male and female characteristics, such as an Adam's apples, those jawline, those brow ridges, you're going to get it wrong, because those are secondary. Remember, a secondary defining feature is always based on the primary. So you can't go into looking at the secondary features of all those long arms, long torsos, which have nothing to do with childbirth, because drugs can change those features. So I want you guys to remember that. So that's why when you come up on a channel and you say that someone is a transgender, you have to provide links of pictures based on the female skeletal structure, the primary female structure, which is always going to be hips below the crotch, an arch in the back, a pelvis that's tilted forward, and a wide pubic arch, because those are the primary characteristics that differentiate a female from a male. If you do not do that on our channel, then we're going to block you for slandering. So you always have to provide those links of pictures, and do not say anything about the secondary characteristics which have nothing to do with childbirth. So I want you guys to remember that. So let's play the short clip so we can continue with the transvestigation of Ashton Kutcher. So like I was talking about, that the primary defining feature of being a male or a female lies in the skeleton. All right, so you always have to go for the skeleton first. So the primary feature of being a female is that, one, her hips are below the crotch, as you can see here. The hips below the crotch is the reason why females have an hourglass figure and males don't. All right, because the hips of a female are wider. Now, why are the hips of a female wider than that of a man? Is because the pubic arch right here is wider. And why is the reason for a wide pubic arch? The wide pubic arch is necessary so that a child can come out of this womb. Okay, so because the pubic arch is wider, it pushes everything further apart in the pelvis of a female. So that's why the hips are further apart and they are below the crotch, out of the way, so that a baby can come out of this pelvic region. Okay, so as you can see right here, this female's hips are below the crotch, and she's going to be measured, because this particular video is about how female clothes are sewn. So for example, when you're sewing, let's say, a woman's clothes, you have to make sure that the hip measurements that you're measuring are below the crotch for that dress or pants or anything that she's wearing. So that's how a lot of clothes around the world are sewn around in every country in the world and then shipped to many different countries, because they know the measurement that for the female hip is always going to be below the crotch, while that of a man is always going to be above the crotch. So I play this short clip so you guys can see that particular measurement right here. And as you can see, the tape goes round and it is below the crotch, not above it. Okay, now one thing else you have to notice that for a lot of people say there's such thing as a hip to shoulder ratio which makes you either a male or female. There's no such thing. The location of the female hip is always going to be below the crotch. So it doesn't matter if her shoulders are wider or she has a wider waist, the location of the hip is below the crotch, and that's what makes you female. The location of a man's hips is above the crotch, and that's what makes him male. Okay, so this female is going to turn around, and one more thing that I need to add is that the Q angle of a female is much more acute than that of a man. Why is that? Because the hips are wider, all right? And the Q angle is an angle between the hips and the knee. And for females, the Q angle starts below the crotch. For males, the Q angle starts above it. So as this female right here, the Q angle will be the angle between the hip right here and the knee further down. So that's why it's very, very acute. Is part of the reasons why you see a woman having an hourglass figure. So this female is going to turn around so you can see from the back where that particular hip location is at. And as you can see right here, the location of that hip from the back is slightly above the bum line but below the crotch. Okay, so if this was a man, all right, this Q angle will be far up here, far away from this bum line. But for a female, that Q angle or the hip location right there is slightly just above the bum line but is below the crotch, as you can tell from the front. So I always suggest that if you have difficulties in trying to ascertain if someone is male or female from the front, once you see that person from the back, you're always going to know that you're either looking at a male or female because of how acute the Q angle is going to be. So if you have difficulty trying to transvestigate someone and you can make a very good definition, or let's say you can't really ascertain if you're looking at a male or female because the pictures are a little bit confusing, and a lot of us are suffering from cognitive dissonance, which the Vatican has imputed upon our psyche, then try to see if you can find a picture of the person from the back, because once you do that, you're actually going to know that you're either looking at a male or a female. So let's continue on with the transvestigation of Ashton Kutcher. So before we get into the transvestigation of Ashton Kutcher, I just want to let you guys know that the Vatican is hard at work trying to shut us down. They landed a strike on account for making a video about Selena Q, who has been, deceiving the Hispanic world for a very long time, that she was a female when she was not. And they said that we had nudity on that particular video, but since YouTube is owned by the Vatican and the Vatican is YouTube, they didn't mention what minute mark that YouTube video had some nudity in it, because it did not exist. So for your own for you to still get information from us, we advise that you should download every video that we have on this channel, because we don't know how long this channel is going to be up, because we know at some point in time that the Vatican is going to shut us down in a very sneaky way. Okay, we know that. So also subscribe to our second channel, which is called Tricks of the S Trade 2, and also send us an email so we have you on the email list of future correspondences, because we are working on our website and we're working on videos. We were working on a book, and the book is now ready for purchase, right? So since we have a limited number of copies right now for sale, we'll be sending emails out to the people who had requested for the book. So if you don't get an email, I just want you to be patient with us, because we have to go down that list one by one. So when we send you an email, we'll give you like maybe at the most 24 hours, all right, to respond to us and let us know if you're interested in getting the book and the number of copies after we've shown you the price. Because we'll only let you know of the price through email, because we're dealing with several let's say printing presses, all right? So we get the books differently and from all of them. So right now, why we've taken this long to actually let people know is because we had to collect all the books from all the printers and know how much the book was gonna cost. So the book is out now, and you'll get an email with the price and shipping if you did send us an email. Please be patient with us. It might take up to a week to get down to your turn, because we'll be sending emails out based on your number in the list when you send us an email previously, if you were interested in the book. So please, please, please be patient. We will not forget anybody. We'll keep on printing copies until we can have enough copies to give to everybody, or to send to everybody who needs it. Okay, so please remember that. And also, what was I about saying? I was about saying something that's just skipped my mind. Hold on, let me try to recall what I was trying to say. Some stuff just skipped my memory. So I was trying to say that if you never sent us an email earlier, and you're interested in the book, still send us an email, because we'll put you still on the list, and we'll print some other copies of the book and let you know. So when we rack up enough copies, then you'll be getting the book instantly when you have a request for it. But for now, we're just doing it according to the number of people who had sent us an email. So you can still send us an email and you get the book. We'll let you know when it's ready in the future. We'll put you on the email list and you just be added to the queue. So that's what I wanted to say. So if you're interested in watching the Selling a Queue video, please look for the Bono video, and we'll give you instructions on how to watch that particular video. So from here on, let's continue on with the transvestigation of Ashton Kutcher. So one of the stories about Ashton Kutcher that was very, very puzzling for to a lot of people was Ashton Kutcher was making a lot of noise when he supposedly, because we know Ashton Kutcher is a female at this point in time, when he supposedly was having a child with a girlfriend. I think the girlfriend's name was Mila Kunis or so. He was making so many, I mean, the public, the media, which is owned by the Vatican, was telling us that Ashton Kutcher is taking a break from acting and from a lot of things to be a great dad and all that kind of stuff. And I was always wondering, is Ashton Kutcher the first daddy, to have a child? Why don't we hear of other, celebrities who are actually men taking breaks to be a good father and all that? All that was mind conditioning and programming to actually make us believe that Ashton Kutcher is female. And one of the things that we did quite notice about Ashton Kutcher is that we featured Steve Jobs on this particular channel right now. So if you want to watch this, you have to go look for a video called Who Ate the Apple, in which we featured Steve Jobs. Now, Ashton Kutcher acted a movie in memory of Steve Jobs after he died. I don't quite remember what the name of the movie was, but in that movie, what I'm trying to say is that here's how the Vatican, what's the best way to put it? Here's how the Vatican makes a mockery of the public, because Steve Jobs, who a lot of people think was male, was actually female. And then Ashton Kutcher, who's a female also, just like Steve Jobs, was chosen to play the role of Steve Jobs in that movie. We'll show you that picture later on as we continue on with this transvestigation. But all I want you to see right here is that here is Ashton Kutcher acting like a female, covering up his breast, and as you can see, those are the mammary glands of a woman right there. And Ashton right here has hips. As you can see, the hips start high above the female female indentation or female waist, which is always going to be above the navel right here. Those hips start spreading and he starts getting wider like a female should, and he has an arch in the back right here, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. Now, Ashton Kutcher dated Demi Moore for a while. I think he was married to Demi Moore, and we've just found out that Demi Moore has a knack for carrying around fake females like Ashton Kutcher's male, because we featured Demi Moore with another person whom she faked to be a man, and she was dating also on this particular channel. I don't quite remember the name of the video, but you can go look for it. It's going to be he's going to say something like the view of Demi Moore. All right, so I want you guys to go look that up. We might actually, I don't know if it's necessary to create a playlist for Ashton Kutcher based on Demi Moore that she that she dated Demi Moore, but will or married Demi Moore rather. If it's necessary to do so, we might do so in the future. But for now, here's Ashton Kutcher. So here's another picture of Ashton Kutcher. As you can see, this Q angle right here is below the crotch, and this pubic arch right here is very wide. And here's one of the trick of the trades that that a lot of transgenders try to fool us of, is that they put their hands in the pocket to hide the hips. So you'll always see this in every transgender, hands in the pocket to hide the hips, because they've been trained since childhood to do so. That's what they've been trained to do. Because these people are taken as babies, and they're forced to live in a sex and gender that's not theirs, and not through their own doing. This is what the Vatican does. They've taken these young children all the time, and they do this to them. It's such a harrowing experience to grow up this way, because these people are actually slaves. They don't have no lives of their own. So you guys might think that they're having such a great life because they make you believe anything and everything on TV. These people are living in hell, and they know no better than what they've been told they are. So that's why we do not appreciate people slandering people at any point in time, because as much as we're exposing and letting you know that these people are not the sex and gender they claim, we are also trying as much as possible to make them ask questions about themselves, because a lot of them do not know who they are, because they've been raised since childhood as babies, and the only thing they know is what they've been taught, because they have no interaction with the outside world as much as regular people do have, to have access to information to know that something is wrong with the way they are. So that's why we're trying as much as possible to make them understand and know to ask this kind of questions, because maybe somehow in the future they'll get to watch this video. All right, they'll get to watch this video. So their souls are much more important than anything else at the end of the day. But regardless, it doesn't mean that you should what's the right word to say? It doesn't mean that you should be stupid or have sympathy. All you need to do is tell them who they are, and that's all. That's your business, and that's it. Right? So that's why we don't. Another thing you should look at Ashton Kutcher right here is that he has an Adam's apple, or she has an Adam's apple, and you can see this square jawline right here. Those are secondary traits that determine the sex. It's not the primary trait. So remember, that's why we do not appreciate anybody getting on this channel and saying, oh, Adam's apples makes you a man, jaw lines, brow bossing, Adonis belts, long arms, long torsos. All that is secondary identifying feature, which can be changed through surgery. Okay? Can be changed through surgery or whatever the case might be, but the skeletal structure will always remain the same if you're male or you're female, and nothing is going to change that. So let's move on to the next picture of Ashton Kutcher. Here's Ashton Kutcher. As you can see, he has a wide pubic arch right there, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. That's not the pubic arch of any man sitting. You can see how wide and farther apart those thighs are, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female and not a man. Let's go over to the next picture of Ashton Kutcher. Here's Ashton Kutcher. As you can see, he has an arch in the back. Arch in her back, because she is 100% female. That's a very huge arch in the back, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female and not a man, as the media has made us believe. This is a stooge of the Vatican. All right, here's Ashton Kutcher with Mila Kunis. So while you've been the media has been portraying to you that Ashton Kutcher is happily married, they're actually showcasing us a homosexual couple, because these are two women. And this is what I'm talking about. Where did they get these children from? Because Ashton Kutcher could never ever impregnate Mila Kunis. So where are they getting these children from? So they're just manufacturing children like they're some sort of like product, or something you go to the store and pick up. This is what, and who knows what this child is going to get involved in. So like Ashton Kutcher, he's probably going to be trained in such a way that how Ashton Kutcher was raised. And you have two very confused people here raising children. This one thinks that she's a man when she's not, and this one is married to him. So this shows that this one too is very, very confused. So how do you think this child is going to grow up? What do you think this child is going to grow up to be? All right, let's go to another picture. Here's Ashton Kutcher on the cover of Rolling Stone, and this is how Rolling Stone, which is owned by the Vatican, I mean, everything that has to do with media is owned by the Vatican. They're just mocking you. They're mocking you day and night because they know the public can't tell. And here they're advertising one of their transgenders whom the public has been made to believe is male when it's actually female. As you can see right here, Ashton Kutcher has an hourglass figure, right? And the navel is set so high inside the torso of the body because that is a female navel point for a female, and you can see how he spreads wider and wider and wider, and the Q angle and the hips is below the crotch from where it terminates because his hips are right here long. So remember what I usually tell you is that for females, if you draw a line at where the waist or indentation point starts, and you draw a line at where the Q angle or where the hips are from below the crotch, it's going to divide the length of the torso of the body in half. And that's what makes a woman a woman. If it was a man, when you draw the line of indentation below the navel for the waist and his hips, it's gonna divide that point of the body into just one quarter. So 1/4 for man from his waist to his hips would be a quarter of the length of the whole entire length of the torso of the body. So Ashton Kutcher here doesn't fit that narrative because right here, this is where his navel point, or this is where his waist point is at. And if you draw that line right here, you can see that it divides the length of the torso of the body in half because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female and not a man. Always used to wonder what is wrong. How can a man have this kind of lips? Pouty lips, because this is something females do. So that's why you can't go off a jawline and the cleft in the jaw and all that, because the secondary male characteristics is showing, but the skeletal structure is telling you that it's female. So remember that. Okay, so let's go further. Here's Ashton Kutcher again. As you can see, he's spreading and getting wider, an hourglass figure, as you can see right here, and his Q angle is going to be below the crotch because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. And this is how she's being portrayed to whosoever is handling her or the people who use him. Because in our book, we're going to explain to you to let you understand that a lot of the people that you see on TV are either serving as priests and priestesses in the religion that the Vatican has designed. They're either priests or priestesses and temple prostitutes. That's the best way I can put it. So when you see Ashton Kutcher being displayed this way, she's being displayed as some sort of prostitute for whosoever, for the cabal and the people who run this world, who need her for whatever services that they require. Such ridiculous perversions that I can't even begin to talk about on the video, but we put all that information in the book for you so you can get it and read it yourself to see. So like I said, the book is out. You will get an email with the price and cost of shipping. And also, if you don't get an email real quick, just bear with us. We'll get to your turn as long as you did send us an email. So let's move on to the next picture of Ashton Kutcher. Same picture right here. As you can see, he spreads wider, female indentation above the waist, and he gets wider and wider and wider, and the Q angle is right here where his hips are below the crotch because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. And you can look at those areolas. Those are not the areolas of any man. Those are the areolas of a female. Okay? All right. Another picture of Ashton Kutcher when he was much younger. You can still see the same thing, that he starts spreading and getting wider from underneath his elbows, which all females do. So if you're female, you stand in the mirror, you put your elbows or arms around yourself, and you start noticing that you start spreading and getting wider from underneath those elbows. This is the same thing that's happened to Ashton Kutcher. And Ashton Kutcher has been around for a very long time. So this is something that the Vatican does. Everybody you see on TV is groomed to be in the position they are. They're not just there by their hard work, or let's say hard work and some sort of what's the right word to use here? Some sort of providence. They're there because they've been bred to be there by the Vatican, who runs the world. Another picture of Ashton Kutcher. Here's Ashton Kutcher with Demi Moore. Demi Moore has a knack for loving all this kind of females who are being portrayed to us as males. Like I've said before, we featured her on one of our videos before, so you can go look for it and you see that. And here is another picture of Ashton Kutcher on the beach, and as you can see, this is a woman walking with an hourglass figure spreading from underneath the elbows, and the Q angle, the angle between the hip and the knee, is below the crotch. Don't worry about this shorts that she's wearing, which the lapel is made to be so long. It's because they're trying to give you that fake or deceiving view or illusion that the crotch is right here when it's not. It's right around here, and that's where Ashton Kutcher's Q angle and hip start, because he's 100% female and not a man. As you can see, this picture is very, very blurry, because once the Vatican knows that they're trying to hide stuff from you, they make very, very bad pictures of whatever they're hiding, because they're trying to hide information from you. So that's what the Vatican does. They're just mocking you every day and night. So Ashton Kutcher, as you can see here, has an arch in his back, or arch in her back, because he's a female, and you can see that this pelvis is tilted forward because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female and not a man. Another picture right there, that's an arch in the back, very glaring, clear as night and day, curving and bending like a female, because Ashton Kutcher is also a woman. He's a woman 100%, not a man. Here's Ashton Kutcher again. As you can see, same thing, hourglass figure spreading, and the Q angle and the hips is below the crotch and not above it like it should be for a man, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. Here's Ashton Kutcher with Mila Kunis, his supposed wife. Who knows if they're really married? It could be that Mila Kunis has been raised to be a handler of Ashton Kutcher, because these people are, this system is well oiled, is well designed by the Vatican. Everything is thought about, all right? Everything is thought about in the future. So they all want to make you believe that things are happening organically and naturally when they're not, because it's all organized by the Vatican. Here is Ashton Kutcher being pimped out here. Look at, that's a woman sitting right there and looking like a female. Is being pimped out here for whatever perversions of whosoever wants him or her in the cabal and business of the Vatican. This is all what it is. It's saddening. It's so sad. Another picture of Ashton Kutcher again here with Mila. And Mila Kunis in this picture looks like pregnant with the second baby. So where are they getting these children from? This is what I'm talking about every day. Where are they getting the children from? That means these children are just products. They don't see them to be human beings like you would see a human baby or your own baby. They don't see that. They see them as products. And a lot of people are falling for all this kind of deception. Let's go further. Here's the picture that started it all. This is the first picture of Ashton Kutcher. I was looking for something, and then I found this, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I decided to talk to the team, and I talked to members of the team and said, look at what I found. And then everybody got it, and I was like, wow, we didn't see this one coming. But you're not going to see a lot of stuff coming in the videos that we are going to be having. It's going to be shock after shock after shock. We have politicians, we have sportsmen, we have sportswomen. The list is endless at this point. I don't know how we're going to finish this, because we're never going to finish it in our lifetime. Because even if I live for 200 years or more, I still would not be able to finish it. We still would not be able to finish it. That's just truth. But here's Ashton Kutcher right here. As you can see, the Q angle is below the crotch. Let me blow this up, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. This Q angle right here is below the crotch, because that's her crotch right there. Don't worry about the long lapel here trying to fake an illusion of a very long crotch of a male. It's right here, and this Q angle right here is below the crotch, because Ashton Kutcher is 100% female. Let's go another picture. Here's the picture of Ashton Kutcher with Steve Jobs. So Steve Jobs to your left and Ashton Kutcher to your right. So this is how the Vatican makes a mockery of us, because they made Michael Fassbender also act a movie about Steve Jobs, and they also made Ashton Kutcher, who's also a transgender male just like Steve Jobs, to sell us, just to laugh at us and then tell us the truth at the same time and just say we are foolish. So that's what the Vatican thinks of the public. They think of you as sheep. They think of you as nobodies. You're sheep who's meant to be led everywhere, and you don't deserve the truth. That's all what it is. All right, so let's move on to let's keep on continuing down here. Here's a picture of Tyler Blackburn, which we talked about before. As you can see, Tyler Blackburn is 100% female. The navel is set way too high in the torso of the body. He has an hourglass figure, and the Q angle is below the crotch, because Tyler Blackburn is 100% female and not a man in any shape or form. And as you can see right here, he starts spreading from underneath the elbows, which all females do. So if you've been watching I think Pretty Little Liars and you thought Tyler Blackburn was something and you liked him, you were looking at the very wrong person. That's why you can't make role models of anybody you see on TV. You do not know what you're watching or who you're looking at. Okay, so just watch it for entertainment purposes only. If you are watching TV, or watch it just to find out who they are using to lie to you, like I do. Okay, so here's Tyler Blackburn again. The Q angle is below the crotch with a female, so that means these are two homosexual couples, and they are lying to you that this is a man and a woman when it's actually two females. This Q angle is below the crotch, as you can see right here, because Tyler Blackburn is 100% female. All right, here is Tyler Blackburn again. As you can see, the huge, humongous Q angle and hips, because she is a woman and not a man in any way, shape, or form. All right, and here is a Scott Campbell. Scott Campbell, like I talked to you about, was a very popular tattoo artist, the tattoo artist of choice for the celebrities who are owned by the Vatican to draw their tattoos or whatever they want to use them for. As you can see, his navel is set way too high. This is ridiculously high. This is so high it can't even be remotely close to being a man's navel. You just can see that, and then the female indentation right there is above that navel as it starts getting wider from there all the way down, because Scott Campbell is 100% female and not a man. Here is Scott Campbell again. I think this guy right here happens to be the husband of Jennifer Aniston. He's in the movie, the series called is it Left Behind or so, a HBO series. Don't quite remember his name right now, but you guys can figure it out. I've just given you all the clues. But this is the guy, or this is the girl rather, who might have given him a tattoo or not. As you can see, hourglass figure with this hourglass figure is so glaring that it doesn't take even a 4-year-old child to see this. And with this navel set so high, you can actually see that you've been looking at a female all along in Scott Campbell. All right. Here's a picture of Brody Jenner. Brody Jenner is Bruce Jenner's daughter, but they want to make you believe that he's a son. He had him from a different relationship, different from Kris Jenner, who's the mother of the Kardashians. And Bruce Jenner, so Brody Jenner, just like his dad, are transgenders right now. So that means that Bruce Jenner wasn't the first in the family. It was Brody Jenner. I don't remember if we made a video already on this or we talked about it, but I think we talked about it and we didn't include a picture, so we're doing it now. And if we already did include a picture in that video, then pardon us, because it's hard to keep up with the small fish, because they're small fish as we claim, as they are. They're not very popular, so do pardon us for that. Another picture of Brody Jenner. As you can see, there's an arch in this back with a ridiculously high navel point, which is the navel point of a female, because Brody Jenner is 100% female and not a man. So at least one more of the Jenners right here is a transgender. And remember, there's no slandering allowed on the channel. All the Kardashians are female. If you're caught slandering without providing those links of pictures based on the female skeletal structure, which is the primary identifying feature of females, then you're going to get blocked for slandering on our channel. So remember that. Okay, so let's move further. And here is Brody Jenner again with not a girl right here. So when the media paints you, you're looking at a very happy couple. You're looking at a homosexual couple, which they don't want you to know. So here's Brody Jenner with a female, but you can see that this hourglass figure is still there from underneath the elbows as he spreads wide, and this Q angle right here is below the crotch, because Brody Jenner is 100% female and not a man. Here's Brody Jenner again with an arch in the back. Sorry, this is a small picture. Let me try to blow this up. As you can see, there's an arch in the back right here. Brody Jenner, 100% female and not a man. So when you think you're looking at two heterosexuals couples kissing here, as the media will portray to you on maybe any of your media or magazines or whatsoever, you're actually looking at a homosexual couple. This is what you're feeding your kids day in and day out. All right, because we live in a system of oppression that the Vatican runs. All right, let's go. I think, okay, that's the last picture that we had today, and I hope you learned something. Please subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in the book, let us know. We will send you an email with the price and cost of shipping. You'll only know about the price when you send us an email, and we'll let you know the price straight up on the cost of shipping. And remember, we'll ship the book to you anywhere you are in the world. It does, as long as you have an address, okay? We'll ship the book to you. So when we will give you instructions on the price, because the price of shipping outside of the United States, because we're in the United States right now, is going to be different. So we'll give you that. It's going to be a flat rate for anybody, so we don't have time to be calculating the fees. We'll just give you a flat rate and cost of shipping to you outside of the United States. So we'll ship the book to you to anywhere you are in the world when you order, and we'll give you instructions on how to order it as well. So please subscribe to the second channel, Tricks of the S-Trade 2, in case this channel goes down before our website comes up. And also download all the videos. It's very, very important that you do, because this might be the only history that we have left in our world, because what we try to do on our channel is make you understand from A to Z, have a full clear picture of what's going on, so you don't miss a beat or skip anything out of it. So with that, we've come to the end of today's video. Subscribe, stay tuned, and we leave you with these words: look with your eyes, but see with your brain. I'll talk with you guys soon.